Part 50. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 492. Lele frowned slightly. I wanted to say something, but restrained myself. Anyway, Xiaoning is very busy these days, and she is probably exhausted. Let her relax today. Seeing this, Zhou Tao hurried forward, picked up 2 pieces of beer, and placed them next to him. Then, some pieces of beer were distributed around the others. Such a good thing, boss, you didn't even say to give us some, he complained while doing things. This is not easy. Tomorrow I will ask the winery to deliver 1 piece of beer to you one by one and 1 second order crystal core. Each person will be given 100 pieces first, Len Ning said proudly. You still need money. Boss, you are really a money addict, Zheng Peng said with a smile. Although the expression on his face was a bit bitter, his voice was filled with laughter. 1 second order crystal core is exchanged for 1 piece of beer, and the price is great value. After all, those with powerful abilities, can easily get dozens or hundreds of second order crystal cores in one trip. Ha! What do you mean by being obsessed with money? Now the 5th branch, big and small, all depend on me to take care of them. If you don't save a little, what will happen? Len Ning said with a smile. You guys, please work faster and get more crystal cores to share with me, Len Ning said while pouring himself wine. Yes, boss, you have worked hard. Let us toast you, Li Qiang said with a smile. So everyone had their first cup. For this second glass, let's toast to the new brother Jihong. Just after finishing the glass, Len Ning began to pour himself another drink. I should have sent someone to pick you up long ago, but we have been delayed again and again because of immigration matters. I am deeply sorry for this. Len Ning raised his glass and looked at Jihong. Jihong looked at Len Ning's sincere look and felt a little moved in his heart. Master, the situation is serious. You have given us a lot of supplies during this period. We are not living hard. It is much better than before. It was also with those supplies that they were able to have enough food and clothing, and even repelled 2 waves of zombies. For more than a month, none of them left the Rongguang base, and they all relied on the supplies sent by the deputy hall leader. Everyone was full of hopeful prayers, waiting for the hall master to send someone to pick them up. Fortunately, they didn't have to wait too long, and they were brought to the Thunder base by the deputy hall master and the others in just over a month. After entering the Thunder base, all of them were properly arranged. The combat-type superpowers who followed him before joined the establishment of the 5th branch of the 5th branch and entered the life of the military camp. Ordinary people lived in shanty towns like other residents of Thunder base. The household registration department came directly to register their household registrations, saying that they would be able to arrange jobs tomorrow. Yes, it is the household registration of the Thunder base directly. Unlike immigrants from other bases, those immigrants have temporary household registration. Everyone is burdened with debt and cannot enjoy full resident rights. And these people are official residents as soon as they arrive. Just come. We are all a family from now on. If you have any questions, you can directly ask Sun Qi. Len Ning looked at Sun Qi with a smile. Sun Qi immediately said to Jihong, "Welcome, brother Jihong." He then raised his glass. The others also raised their glasses. So everyone drank another drink. Then, Len Ning began to review the events since the establishment of the 5th branch, detailing the remarkable achievements. Everyone was very excited after hearing this. Beer was poured into his stomach 1 cup at a time. Then, at Zhou Tao's suggestion, everyone started punching each other. Zhou Tao acted as the banker, challenging everyone and winning consecutive battles. Finally I found Len Ning. Everyone booed and asked Len Ning to clean up Zhou Tao and avenge them. Naturally, Len Ning did not give up. A victorious general, right? I'll let you have a taste of how it feels to be defeated and sink into the sand, Len Ning said confidently. Then he poured the wine, stood up and started fist-fighting with Zhou Tao. Lei Lei looked at the wanton Len Ning in front of him, feeling not only shocked but also somewhat touched. His Xiao Ning actually has such a heroic side. The more I watch it, the more I like it. That is, she has already drank a lot, and he can only allow her to drink 2 more bottles at most. How's it going, brothers? There are 8 horses. Lei Lei looked at the female man in front of him who had no regard for his image, and the more he looked at him, the more cute he felt in his heart. Someone caught a glimpse of Lei Lei's appreciative eyes and almost thought they were dazzled. After all, Zhou Tao has been on the battlefield for a long time, and Len Ning is no match at all. Soon, Len Ning drank several drinks in a row. After losing consecutive battles, Len Ning was not discouraged. Instead, he became more courageous with every setback, determined to defeat Zhou Tao a few times. When she lost again and picked up the wine glass, she was stopped by thunder. The crowd that was originally noisy suddenly became quiet. In all the excitement just now, they almost forgot that Mr. Lei was there. What are you doing? If you lose, you lose. I'm willing to admit defeat, Len Ning pulled away Lei Ting's hand unhappily. Lei Lei quickly grabbed the wine glass from Len Ning's hand. I'll drink it for Xiaoning. Then he raised his glass and said to everyone. Then, without waiting for anyone's reaction, he raised his glass and drank it all in one gulp. Everyone was speechless. Brother drinks for sister? This, I can put it past that, but it always seems like something is weird. I'll compete with you on behalf of my Xiaoning. Before anyone could react, Lei Lei had already said to Zhou Tao again. Suddenly the scene was shocked again. His family Xiaoning? Everyone looked at Len Ning and then at Lei Lei, feeling that the situation was getting more and more wrong. They had heard about it earlier and had seen some suspicious signs about the two of them. But because the boss never told them, and Mr. Lei never made it public, and the two of them were indeed brother and sister, they were not very sure. Before, Li Feng told them in a serious manner that the boss was with Mr. Lei. For a while, they didn't believe it and thought Li Feng was spreading rumors. But now, Li Feng looked at everyone nervously. How about it? What he said before was correct. Their hall leader is with Mr. Lei. I challenge you as Xiaoning's boyfriend. Okay, Lei Lei said in a deep voice before Zhou Tao could answer. As soon as these words came out, the power was almost equivalent to a bomb. Everyone felt a little confused, and some suspected that they were hearing hallucinations. Len Ning was also shocked. The eyes that looked at Lei Lei were confused. Actually, that's what you said? If it were normal, Len Ning would probably explode. Even if it doesn't explode, it will be furious. But now she was a little drunk and her thoughts were slow. The little woman's emotions had taken over and she couldn't be angry with Lei Ting at all. Zhou Tao glanced at Len Ning, and then looked at Lei Ting. No problem then, he said with a serious look. Although I have known for a long time that the boss has this relationship with Mr. Lei, it still feels a little uncomfortable to hear it now. Well, he would take this opportunity to prove it to his boss and himself. Zhou Tao may not be able to compare with Lei Xiao in other aspects, but in boxing, even Lei Xiao is no match for him. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Qi Now. Chapter 493. Then, Zhou Tao and Lei Ting actually punched each other. Zhou Tao was sure of victory and thought he would win. Who knew that he would lose to Thunder after just 2 punches? Everyone looked at Lei Lei with admiration. As expected of Mr. Lei, even in boxing, he is so self-taught and awesome. Yes, judging from young Master Lei's reaction just now, it was his first time punching like their boss. Come again, Zhou Tao drank a glass of beer and said to Lei Lei. His expression was solemn, and he was determined not to let anything slip this time. He lost to Mr. Lei just now because he underestimated his opponent. He won't make such a mistake next time. Lei stretched out his hand and made preparations. Then the two continued. This time it was 3 punches, and Zhou Tao was defeated again. Young Master Lei is so powerful, Liang Hui took the lead and said loudly. The others also followed suit. While praising Lei for his awesomeness, he also made fun of Zhou Tao, asking him to drink quickly and give up fighting with Lei Xiao. Zhou Tao drank the wine in his glass in one gulp, poured it in again, and continued fighting with Lei. Lei looked calm and continued to punch Zhou Tao. Although he had never punched before, the principle of punching was simple, and he could understand it just by watching it a few times. As long as you observe things properly and have good psychological control, it is not difficult to win. In the 3rd round, Zhou Tao persisted until the 5th punch, but still lost. Now, everyone looked at Lei with eyes full of admiration. Once or twice may be due to coincidence. But winning 3 times in a row is no coincidence. As expected of Mr. Lei, his supernatural talents are first-rate, and his mental scheming is unfathomable. Zhou Tao drank the beer and challenged the thunder again. Unfortunately, as everyone suspected, he lost again. Go ahead and lose again. Keep going and lose. This continued until he lost 8 games in a row, and the time for losing punches became shorter and shorter. Zhou Tao finally admitted that he was really not on the same level as Thunder. He surrendered dejectedly. At this time, Len Ning, who had been watching the battle, smiled. You idiot, my eldest brother studied micro-expression psychology before and has reached a professional level. Compete with him for 100 rounds and see if you can beat him in 1 round, Len Ning said with some pride. Not only psychology, but also finance, languages, all kinds of subjects. Her eldest brother has dabbled in all kinds of subjects, and he graduated with almost perfect grades in all of them. All the teachers who taught him were private famous teachers, and every teacher was full of praise for him. If the eldest brother does not choose to inherit Lei's family business, but chooses to go to college or study abroad, it will not be difficult to become a scientific expert, a financial expert, or an expert in other industries. It's not her fault, her eldest brother is truly a perfect example of excellence in the world. Everyone immediately looked at Lei with admiration again. A boss or a top student? It's getting late. Let me propose a toast to everyone on Xiaoning's behalf. I hope you will work seriously in the future and share more work for her. Lei poured himself a glass of wine and said to everyone, after drinking, we will disperse today. It was the first time for him to drink with a large group of people like this, and it was also the first time for him to take the initiative to toast others. For Xiaoning, he was very happy. At the same time, he also felt that this feeling was quite special. Everyone hurriedly poured wine and raised glasses. To Mr. Lei, to Miss Lei, Sun Qi said solemnly. He glanced at Lei and Len Ning one after another. To Mr. Lei, to Miss Lei, the others followed. His eyes were filled with blessings. They were happy for the hall leader to have such an excellent boyfriend. Everyone cheers. After drinking the glass, Lei took Len Ning and left. The others also left. Walking on the winter street, Len Ning was held in Lei's arms and walked back. He. Thinking about Lei Ting's performance at the banquet just now, Len Ning became happier and happier, and couldn't help but laugh out loud. Are you satisfied with my performance just now? Lei roughly guessed what was going on and asked Len Ning with a chuckle. Satisfied? Haha, brother, you are so kind. Len Ning felt sweet in his heart and pressed closer to Lei Ting's arms. We will always be happy. Lei hugged Len Ning and looked forward. Yeah, Len Ning felt determined. Midnight. Len Ning was sleeping soundly when suddenly there was a rapid knock on the door. Enduring the discomfort, Len Ning got up and opened the door. The person standing at the door turned out to be Yang Meijun, and beside her, Xiao Bao was also there. The child also had a serious look on his face. "Miss, Deputy Hall Master's son has something urgent to do with you." Before Len Ning could speak, Yang Meijun said anxiously. The lazy and tired look on Len Ning's face disappeared instantly. "What happened? Where is he?" As he spoke, a coat appeared in Len Ning's hand. It might not be simple for Sun Chi to come to her so late. It said that the zombie wave is coming. "Deputy Hall Master's son is waiting in the living room," Yang Meijun said with a solemn expression. Len Ning's expression changed. "Tell him I'll be right away." After saying that, he quickly entered the door and closed the door. Then Len Ning quickly changed his clothes and was dressed in a smart outfit in less than 2 minutes. When she opened the door, Yang Meijun had left, but Xiaobao was still at the door. Len Ning left without saying anything. Xiaobao hurriedly followed. "Hall Master, you promised before that you would let me go to the battlefield," Xiaobao said while chasing. Len Ning looked stunned, but did not stop. "Follow me if you want to go." After walking a long way, he said in a deep voice. Xiaobao was overjoyed and hurriedly chased Len Ning. "What's going on now?" Len Ning asked Sun Chi, who was standing next to the sofa before he reached the living room. Sun Chi hurriedly bowed to Len Ning and saluted. "The 4 hall masters have already set off with their own people. I have arranged for the brothers from the 1st and 2nd rudders to go to the base camp to guard first. Why didn't anyone notify me of the combat deployment?" Len Ning looked serious. She is the leader of the 5th branch. Such a big thing happened, but she didn't know the news so late. Lei Xiaoming's 1st branch acted as the forward, blocking the zombies head-on. The 2nd and 3rd branches attacked from the left and right wings respectively to disperse the main force of zombies. The 4th branch went behind to prevent subsequent zombies from gathering, and at the same time, it fought with the other 3 branches. "Form an encirclement and swallow the entire wave of zombies," Sun Chi said solemnly. "As for us." "What about us?" Len Ning's voice was filled with displeasure. "Master Lei said that you just went to bed and there was no need to disturb you. He arranged for our 5th branch to stay behind as backup," Sun Chi continued. "It was also for this reason that he only arranged for 1 or 2 brothers from the helm to guard the front line base camp." "Thunder!" Len Ning spat out 2 words in anger. She had been drinking and was sleeping a little deeply. But just asking her to rest is too much. Their brothers in the 5th branch have been unable to hold back and want to fight for a long time. Now that a wave of zombies has finally hit them, how can they just watch others drink and eat meat? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 494. Hall Master Sun Chi whispered and called Len Ning. "Mr. Lei is the supreme leader of the Thunder Base. It is not good to call him by his name like this. Go and call the brothers who are on the 3455 helm, gather at the front line camp, and wait to follow me to the battlefield to kill zombies." Len Ning glanced at Sun Chi and said solemnly. A zombie wave brought countless crystal nuclei. We must not just let the 4 hall masters enjoy the hot and spicy food. As the leader of the hall, she treats the 5 sub-rudders under her equally, and if they want to go to the battlefield, they will all go. "Yes," Sun Chi said immediately with joy on his face. Then he hurriedly left. Len Ning looked back at Xiaobao with a serious face. "Let's go." Then he walked directly outside. Xiaobao hurriedly followed. After leaving Lei's house, Len Ning took out a car directly from the space ring. Taking Xiaobao with him, he drove towards the first-line base camp. After passing several checkpoints, Len Ning entered the combat headquarters. "Hall Master Len, please wait a moment, I will report to Master Lei." Len Ning was stopped at the entrance of the camp. A hint of impatience flashed across Len Ning's face, but it didn't break out. The soldier went in to report, and soon came out and invited her in. Len Ning took Xiaobao into the big tent. I saw that Thunder was indeed there. She also knew the rest of them, including Blue Snake and Red Fox, and the remaining few were all senior military officials. Brother, with so many people here, Len Ning still gave Lei Ting some face. He saluted. Yes. Come here, Lei said calmly. There was a hint of helplessness in his eyes. Len Ning raised his head and walked towards Lei Ting. Our fifth branch is requesting to go out to fight. Walking to Lei's side, Len Ning cupped his fists and saluted Lei. Everyone looked slightly shocked. They all looked at Thunder. Blue Snake and Red Fox looked at each other, looking at Lei with a look of helplessness on his face, with a hint of schadenfreude in their eyes. The boss's little girlfriend seems to be angry. What should he do? Report. Lei was about to speak when a soldier outside shouted. In less than 10 seconds, a soldier rushed into the tent. Young Master Lei, the pressure on the front line is huge. The leader of the Black Tiger Hall has retreated, asking for support. Everyone's expressions immediately darkened. Black Tiger would never have retreated if he hadn't really been unable to withstand it. This zombie wave is not simple. Boss, I'll take people there, Red Fox immediately stood up and said. Let me go, Len Ning glanced at Red Fox and said eagerly. Thunder frowned. The number of this zombie wave is no less than 50,000, miss, this is not the time to show off. Blue Snake, who had not interrupted until now, stepped forward and said to Len Ning. Len Ning was stunned. 50,000? The number is almost 2.5 times the population of Thunder Base. Why are there so many zombies? If this is the case, I will go even more. Len Ning looked at Lei firmly. There are only 2 4th-level superpowers in the base, me and my eldest brother. Only by taking down the Zombie King can we end this battle as soon as possible. The scene fell silent for a moment. Zombie King. Yes, getting rid of the Zombie King is the fastest way. Once the Zombie King dies, the remaining zombies will lose their command and can only act based on instinct, which will be much easier to deal with. But the Zombie King is extremely powerful and protected by so many zombies. How can he be so easy to kill? I'll go with you after a while, Lei finally said to Len Ning. His wife was stubborn and asked her to wait at the base camp, but she would definitely not agree. The mission to kill the Zombie King was extremely dangerous, and he would never let her go alone. Boss Blue Snake subconsciously shouted to Thunder. But as soon as he opened his mouth, he was stopped by Lei with a wave of his hand. After Xiaoning and I leave, the camp will be under your command, Lei said directly. A hint of complexity flashed across the Blue Snake's face. Yes, after a moment, he bowed. Guards, follow me, Lei said in a deep voice and walked outside. Len Ning gave Blue Snake and Red Fox a look and quickly followed them. Seeing Xiaobao standing not far away, Len Ning looked a little complicated. Go to the military medical department to help, and we'll do the rest when I get back. The situation was too complicated, and she couldn't take Xiaobao there. A flash of struggle flashed in Xiaobao's eyes. Yes, finally agreed. Such a large-scale zombie wave is coming, and there are countless injured soldiers with powers. If he went to the military medical department, he could save many people. Especially those who are scratched or bitten by zombies, his appearance can even determine their life or death. That's all. He just had to wait a little longer. There would still be a chance to go to the battlefield. For now, he could only focus on the overall situation. Len Ning followed Lei out of the tent. After going out, he saw Sun Qi and others not far away. The situation has changed. My eldest brother and I are going to intercept the Zombie King. You and your brothers will stay behind and be ready to respond to the Black Tiger Hall Master's people at any time, Len Ning said directly without any nonsense. Sun Qi looked startled. I request to fight together with the Hall Master, he then said. Mr. Lei and the Hall Master personally attacked. The situation this time was more difficult than expected. We request to fight together with the hall master. The helmsman standing behind Sun Chi followed. Len Ning looked at the crowd and said, "More people are a bad thing. My eldest brother and I are enough. According to the original plan, you defend the base camp. Brother and I are not here, you follow the orders of the Blue Snake Hall Master. Remember, stop the zombie army, prevent them from entering the Thunder base, and protect the people behind us," Len Ning said solemnly. Everyone was silent. "Yes," Sun Chi responded first. "Yes," the others finally followed. Len Ning nodded, finally relieved. Then he quickly ran forward to chase Thunder. When Len Ning entered the front-line combat zone, he realized how dangerous and serious the situation was. Under the illumination of flash bombs, the night is as bright as day. The open area in front of Lishan was now crowded with zombies. The mighty tide of zombies is rushing towards the Thunder base like a tidal wave. The soldiers in the first branch in the front row had already used thermal weapons when their supernatural powers were severely depleted. Rows of zombies fell down, and row after row of zombies stepped on the corpses of the fallen zombies in the front row and continued to rush forward. The soldiers who did not retreat in time quickly fell into the clutches of the zombies and became food for the zombies, causing endless screams. At this moment, suddenly, a bolt of thunder and lightning flashed through the dark night. A large number of zombies chasing the soldiers were suddenly struck by lightning, and a large piece of them fell down like black coal. Then, Lei Ting appeared at the front of the soldiers holding two electric blades tens of meters long. "Put away your guns and ammunition and retreat to the safety line," Lei Lei shouted. "Withdraw! Withdraw!" Black Tiger immediately shouted sharply at his own people. The soldiers quickly retreated. Then, Thunder's figure moved quickly, harvesting the zombies that came up again piece by piece. The Thunder system is indeed the most domineering attack power. Where lightning swept across, the zombies quickly charred and fell, unable to fight back. The addition of Thunder brought the zombies' progress to a halt. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 495. The soldiers were stunned. "Mr. Lei. This is their Mr. Lei. He must be the god of thunder from heaven descending to earth. So strong. 1 for 1,000, oh no. Is it possible to treat one thing as all things? Brother. Give me half." Suddenly a shout sounded in the air, and Len Ning rushed into the battlefield. Just as everyone squeezed their hearts for the petite girl, a vine suddenly burst out and grew into a large living magic vine with sharp spikes. The girl stood on the top of the vines, directing dozens of vines to attack the approaching zombies. These vines seemed to be alive, drilling directly into the zombie's head. He drilled accurately and dug out all the crystal nuclei inside. Forget about digging them out, the strange thing is that the vines actually acted like automated machinery, delivering all the dug-out crystal nuclei to the girl's hands. Not only that, but those vines don't just kill one zombie at a time. And it can keep growing and penetrate the heads of a bunch of zombies at once. When it was stretched far enough, it was quickly withdrawn, leaving zombie corpses on the ground. In just 2 minutes, the zombie corpses near the girl had piled up high. Soon everyone discovered that her operation was different from that of Mr. Lei, as if she was deliberately building up corpses to block the zombie tide. Lei Lei quickly discovered the situation and left Len Ning with more openings. Len Ning raised the corner of his mouth and continued to implement his strategy. An hour later, Len Ning finally built a long and high city wall with zombie corpses. Black Tiger led the soldiers to shoot zombies at various entrances deliberately left by Len Ning, and quickly stabilized the situation. Lei Lei and Len Ning can finally have some time to rest. The two stood on the zombie wall, looking at a green-eyed zombie in the vast zombie army. "That should be it." Len Ningson looked at the zombie coldly and said to Thunder. "There is always something different about the zombie king from other zombies. This zombie's eyes are not the scarlet color of ordinary zombies, but green. This is where they are most suspicious. In addition, almost all the zombies were rushing towards them before, but it and the few zombies around it were always stable. There are high-level zombies around it, Lei Lei agreed with Len Ning's guess and reminded. This thing is quite cunning. Not only did it not move just now, but the zombies around it didn't move either. It should be deliberately arranged to protect itself. Should you go up first or should I go up first? Len Ning said with a smile. I can go alone, Lei Lei said solemnly. At this time, the green-eyed zombie had realized something was wrong and started to retreat. How can that be done? I'll do it first, and I promise at most that you can do it after I do it, Len Ning smiled playfully. You're already here, don't leave. Then, without waiting for Lei Lei's reply, he shouted in the direction of the zombie king, flew out and rushed out. At the same time, Xiaoman quickly grew vines from Len Ning's hand, piercing the zombie's head piece by piece. Arriving not far from the zombie king, 3 third-level zombies quickly attacked Len Ning. Len Ning took out his pistol calmly. While commanding the vines to snipe the ordinary zombies around, he used his pistol to call out the third-level zombies and the zombie king. The zombie king was so nimble that he managed to avoid Len Ning's bullet attacks twice in a row. Len Ning finally gave up on killing the zombie king directly and ordered Xiaoman to cooperate with him, killing the 3 third-level zombies with his gun. The zombie king finally realized that the situation was not good, and no longer thought about killing Len Ning, but began to run for his life. So it began to retreat, and at the same time commanded all the surrounding zombies to besiege Len Ning. Seeing the zombies coming like a tide, Len Ning became uneasy. Xiaoman shouted angrily. Then Len Ning's body was directly lifted up by Xiaoman, and 3 giant sickle-shaped branches that were 20 meters long quickly grew out of Xiaoman's thick body. Then the branches began to rotate, like a meat grinder, mincing all the zombies that came in into pieces. For a time, flesh and blood flew everywhere, and corpses were everywhere. There is no living thing within a radius of 20 meters with Len Ning as the center. Len Ning concentrated, took out his sniper rifle, pointed it in the direction of the zombie king, and shot. Unfortunately, he was dodged by the zombie king again. Seeing that the zombie king had escaped 50 meters away from him, Len Ning felt anxious. Quickly pick up the sniper rifle again. At this time, a bolt of lightning suddenly appeared beside her. Thunder is finally here. I saw him using the lightning blade to open a path, killing everyone, and running forward like the wind to chase the zombie king. At this moment, Thunder looked like a messenger from hell. As long as you are targeted by him, you are destined to be unable to escape and live. Lei Lei kept killing all the way, and was chased by tens of thousands of zombies before he caught up with the zombie king. Then with a thunderous move, he used the power of thunder and lightning to directly split the zombie king into 2 halves of charcoal. Then in the sniper rifle shot, Len Ning saw that the zombie king who had made everyone fear him before and had his scalp numb, died just like that. As soon as the zombie king died, the restlessness among the zombies suddenly decreased significantly. Thunder once again wielded the lightning blade, killing as many as he wanted in the middle of the zombie army. Len Ning's face darkened. He took out the signal gun from the space ring and shot it directly into the sky. Soon, a thunderous kill sound came from the edge of Lishan Mountain, and countless superpowers rushed out. Without the zombie king, the zombie army can only become meat on the chopping block of the superpowers. Len Ning looked at the direction of thunder and directed Xiaoman to start the meat grinder and move in his direction. At the same time, she also took out her submachine gun and fired at the zombies, venting her depression to her heart's content. This battle was extremely fierce and lasted until 10 o'clock the next morning before the entire wave of zombies was completely wiped out. Lei Lei and Len Ning fought until 8 o'clock in the morning, and then left hand in hand after confirming that the military had completely controlled the situation. After the 5th Hall stayed at the frontline base camp for 3 hours, Considering that Lyshan was already safe, Blue Snake asked them to join the battle. The largest zombie wave that broke out in Cydia since the end of the world ended with the Thunder Base's complete victory. Throughout the night, major bases discovered the dangerous situation facing the Thunder Base one after another. Most of the bases chose to stand still. It was not until 5 o'clock in the morning that the people at Thunder Base were still fighting hard, and then some bases started to send troops to help. Of course, these reinforcements did not play any substantial role, they just helped the fourth branch to block the wandering zombies on the outside. The senior executives of the Thunder Base understood clearly that they did not expect these people to really come to help in the first place, so they were just polite and allowed them to return. The major bases felt a little unhappy. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 496. Everyone is saying that the number of zombies in this zombie wave is no less than 50,000. If 50,000 people were to be wiped out, how many crystal nuclei would there be? The Thunder Base was all taken over. But despite their displeasure, they couldn't say anything. Although they did come to participate in the rescue, they had been operating on the periphery and their help was very limited. If you haven't entered the inner circle to strangle the zombies in the inner circle, you really have no right to open your mouth and enter the inner circle to clean up the battlefield. After this battle, the power of Thunder Base became more popular. The various performances of Lei Lei and Len Ning on the battlefield were quickly spread. For a time, everyone knew that Lei Lei could single-handedly take the head of the zombie king among tens of thousands of zombies. As a fourth-level superpower like Lei Lei, Len Ning can also build a zombie wall with one person to resist the zombie attack at the cost of 10,000. For a time, major bases respected the Thunder Base more and wanted to achieve deeper cooperation with the Thunder Base. Small bases came one after another and wanted to follow the old path of Rongguang Base and join the Thunder Base directly. It was impossible for them to meet Mr. Lei, and it was also quite difficult to meet the 5 Hall Masters. So many small bases actually found ways to get in touch with Ji Hong. When Ji Hong told Len Ning these things, Len Ning immediately expressed that she wanted everyone. It's just that the position she promised was not as good as Ji Hong's. Only those with strong abilities can serve as the helmsman and deputy helmsman, while those with weak abilities can only hold positions one level lower than the helmsman in each branch. After the conditions were laid out, some were willing to join, but some were unwilling because they disliked the low position, and some turned to look for other opportunities. In general, most small bases are looking for ways to join the Thunder Base. The 4 Hall Masters soon discovered this, and seeing Len Ning's softness in accepting people, they quickly lowered the threshold. Although they generally won a great victory over the last zombie wave, there were casualties in all major branches. The addition of foreign bases is also an excellent opportunity for them to replenish their sources of troops. More than a month passed like this, and the population of Thunder Base further increased to nearly 32,000 people. At the same time, the new vegetable base has entered normal production in Kongzhen, and the output has more than quadrupled than before. With the small bases almost no longer existing, the vegetable base finally increased the supply of vegetable grains to the large bases again. The maximum allowable purchase volume set by it has exceeded the self-required quantity of each major base. Strictly speaking, except for first-class crops, the supply limits set by vegetable bases no longer have obvious significance in everyone's eyes. Of course, as a reborn person, Len Ning naturally found it meaningful. Because communication will be restored 1 year after the end of the world. As communications are restored, they will be able to get in touch with the outside world. Food is still the most precious commodity in the years before the end of the world. She can provide the major bases in City A with enough vegetables and grains for their needs, but will not give them the opportunity to hoard them for external sales. After all, she just wants to do this business by herself. In addition to the vigorous development of vegetable bases, wineries, farms, paper mills, etc. supported by vegetable bases are all blooming. Kongzhen has gradually transformed from a remote and lonely town into the industrial center of Thunder Base. The days are moving forward rapidly, and in a blink of an eye it is already the 29th year of the new year, the day of the reunion of the 5th branch. That day, good news finally came from the vegetable base. There was a wood-type superpower who had reached the 4th level. Len Ning was overjoyed and immediately rewarded the 4th level superpower user with a large sum of money and invited him to participate in the high-level group annual event in the evening. How could she not be ecstatic? All along, the vegetable base has produced such a large output. Except for those plants that can be cut, all the seeds have been produced by her alone. This directly caused her to be very busy, and she could only stay in the vegetable base doing boring work most of the time. What does the emergence of a new level 4 wood-type superpower mean? Of course it was her liberation. When this 4th level wood element powerhouse takes over her job, she can control her own time. If you want to go on a mission, go on a mission. If you want to kill zombies, go kill zombies. Real freedom. Lin's restaurant was particularly lively tonight, with a big red banner hanging at the door saying that the 5th branch was having a dinner here. Lei Lei once again showed up as Len Ning's boyfriend, giving Len Ning enough face. The number of people eating this time was obviously twice as many as the previous dinner party. Many of them are new faces to the Thunder. On the table. Look, I just said that you will have a bright future with our hall master. When we are reunited, even Master Lei personally came to support us, said a helmsman who had just joined the 5th branch hall. Yes. The person I admire most is Mr. Lei. I didn't expect to see him so close today and have dinner with him in the same room, another helmsman followed. Like the person who just spoke, he was the leader of a small base before. They all entered the 5th branch through Jihong's connections. Everyone knows about the 50,000 person zombie wave 3 months ago, a helmsman said, looking at the people on the table. Of course I know. At that time, I took dozens of my brothers to the scene to help, a helmsman said hurriedly. That's right. I went there too, another helmsman followed. The others didn't come and didn't speak. He just looked at the person who just asked the question. They all heard a lot of rumors about that war. It was also from then on that small bases began to seek refuge in the Thunder base. All of them. It is said that the battle was entirely due to Mr. Lei and their hall master who turned the tide. The two of them first jointly stopped the zombies from flooding into the Thunder base. Then he successively attacked into the center of the zombie army and directly chopped up the zombie king. This gave the base an opportunity to counterattack. You have no idea how tragic the battle was at that time. The dense army of zombies looked like they were on stimulants. Under the command of the Zombie King, they all rushed towards the Thunder base, a helmsman said in an exaggerated way. He spoke to everyone in a tone of voice. At that time, Mr. Lei arranged for the 1st branch of the Black Tiger Hall Master to fight the zombie wave head-on and prevent the zombie wave from entering the Thunder base. The Blue Snake and Red Fox Hall Masters' 2nd and 3rd branches were to outflank the zombie wave from the left and right wings, weakening the power of the zombie wave. Finally, the 4th branch of the Yellow Monkey Hall leader encircled and suppressed the enemy, blocking the zombies from joining the zombie tide and also cutting off the zombie tide's retreat. But at that time, the combined combat strength of the 4 branches was only 6,000 people. Including the civilian mercenary group, it is estimated that the number was only a little over 7,000. Mr. Lei made such a bold decision from the beginning, the helmsman asked in shock. This is 7,000 versus 50,000. The ones they faced were all zombies who didn't care about their lives and weren't afraid of pain. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 497. Everyone looked at the helmsman who was explaining with burning eyes. Of course. Young Master Lei's courage is beyond the comprehension of those of us. From the very beginning, young Master Lei never thought of letting go of these zombies who tried to get their hands on Lei Mountain. Before this, oh, and after that, think about it, in which zombie wave did zombies leave the Thunder Base safely, the helmsman who explained it said with a bit of pride. Everyone nodded. This is indeed the case. When encountering a zombie wave, major bases will try to lure away the zombies to reduce casualties. Only Thunder Base chooses to face the zombies head-on every time. It's not even a matter of slapping it to death. It's rounded up and swallowed completely. Let the zombie wave come and go. These days, Thunder Base has almost become a restricted area for zombies. There is news circulating that since that war, the tide of zombies coming to Thunder Base has become less and less. Many people even suspected that those zombie kings had got some information, so they did not dare to attack the Thunder Base. That's true. Now that there are more and more of us, we are getting stronger and stronger. We no longer need to live in the same fearful days as before, said a helmsman. Then a toast was raised to everyone at the table. After hearing this, everyone felt something in their hearts and raised their glasses to drink together. In these last days, it is such a blessing to be able to join such a powerful base. By the way, you said just now that Mr. Lei only arranged for the 4 major branches to participate in the battle. What about our 5th branch? A helmsman asked. Yes. What were our 5th branch doing at that time? Didn't it mean that our hall leader also went to the battlefield? Another helmsman asked. Everyone looked at the helmsman who explained, waiting for his answer. You have really asked the right person, the commentator said with a certain degree of pride. There is a reason why Master Lei did not make arrangements for our 5th branch at that time, the helmsman said mysteriously. Say it. What's the point? An anxious helmsman urged unhappily. That's it. That's it, the others also looked curious. At that time, the zombie wave came at night. Just 3 hours before the zombie wave broke out, our hall master had a dinner with the leaders of the major branches in Lin's restaurant to welcome the 5th man who had just arrived at the Thunder Base. Ji Hong, the helmsman of the branch, the helmsman explained, looking at the crowd. For all of us to be able to come to Thunder Base and work under the hall master, we must be more or less helped by Brother Ji Hong. Helmsman, you look at me and I look at you, smiling but saying nothing. It is indeed thanks to Ji Hong. Some of them found Ji Hong directly, while others found him through acquaintances. Only by asking him to help introduce me can I have the opportunity to join the hall master. Ji Hong is indeed a good person. He is very happy to help, and he doesn't get any benefit at all. Ji Hong was the first among us to take the initiative to seek refuge with the hall master. In addition to his strong strength, the hall master appreciated him very much. That night, he led the senior officials to hold a welcome ceremony for Ji Hong. Because the atmosphere was good and everyone was happy, we drank a lot of wine. The helmsman's expression became ambiguous. He carefully glanced at Len Ning and Lei Lei at the next table, lowered his head, and whispered with an ambiguous smile, in the end, Mr. Lei took our hall master back. Some people expressed disbelief. The leader of their hall is Mr. Lei's sister, so what this guy said is nonsense. Everyone subconsciously felt that it was not credible. But within a moment, he looked at the helmsman explaining it again. Seeing him looking at Len Ning and Lei Lei at the opposite table with ambiguous expressions, he began to feel a little unsure again. Then he glanced at Lei Lei, who was helping Len Ning pick up food at the next table, and the uncertainty quickly began to get stronger and stronger. Then, everyone looked at the interpreter helmsman again. What identity do you think young Master Lei used to attend Ji Hong's welcome party last time? The helmsman said with some pride. What's your identity? The helmsman asked. Yes, this is quite strange to think about. It makes sense for the hall leader to lead the senior leaders of the 5th branch to welcome Ji Hong. As the head of the base, how could Mr. Lei attend such a gathering? Even Tenji Hong would not have that kind of face. And today, this is the annual meeting of their fifth branch. Why did Mr. Lei come here so condescendingly again? Even if Mr. Lei is the eldest brother of their hall master, usually only the closest relatives will accompany him on such occasions. What's more, how could Lei Xiao, who had so many things to do all day long, take time out to have dinner with such a large group of them? So, everyone's eyes widened and they looked at each other. It seemed like they had some great news. The helmsman was even more proud when he saw everyone's reaction. I finally understand, what a bunch of idiots. Of course he is the boyfriend of our hall leader, the helmsman said proudly. This is already an open secret among the former 5-point helmsmen. It's not surprising that you newcomers don't know. Everyone took a deep breath. After hearing this news, everyone felt a little weird. Is their hall leader in love with Mr. Lei? Hall master? Since joining the fifth branch, they have not had many opportunities to meet the leader, but every time they are impressed by the majesty and wisdom of the leader. The temperament of the hall leader once made them ignore her external image and only thought that she was a great leader. How could such a powerful person fall in love? The object of love is still Mr. Lei? Then how did you know? Someone asked unhappily because he couldn't stand the proud look of the commentator. Ji Hong and I have known each other since before the end of the world. How do you know I know that? The helmsman said angrily. Oh, he is different from them. With so many new helmsmen, he will definitely be the first to break into the core leadership. Everyone looked at each other and had some thoughts in their minds. Although everyone came to participate in the reunion today, there were still 2 tables for eating in one room. The core executives sat directly at the same table as the hall master and Mr. Lei, and they were arranged to sit at another table. This person has a good relationship with Ji Hong, so he might be able to enter the core layer soon. Thinking of this, everyone smiled and toasted to the commentator and helmsman, trying to curry favor with him, at least not wanting to offend him. With information about the helmsman, they now basically understand it. The leader of their hall is probably really in love with Mr. Lei right now, and is very likely to become the future mistress of the Thunder Base. Thinking about it, their hall master and Mr. Lei are the best match in terms of appearance and strength. Apart from the other party, it is really difficult to find the most suitable partner. It's because our hall leader was drunk and Master Lei couldn't bear to disturb her, so he didn't let the fifth branch go to the battlefield. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 498. The helmsman said with deep affection. In his mind, he seemed to be imagining the scene when Lei asked his servants to stop making noise to Len Ning, and then he left Lei's house alone and went to the front line to formulate a battle plan. So that's it, someone sighed. Mr. Lei really felt sorry for their hall master. Well, that's how a man should feel about his woman. They would do the same thing. Everyone agreed with Lei's approach in their hearts. Then how did our hall master end up on the battlefield? The first helmsman then asked. The commentator glanced at the helmsman who asked the question, and then his eyes swept across the crowd. Hey! Our hall master was a little drunk at the time, but the deputy hall master and other helmsmen were not drunk, the helmsman explained. Continued. At that time, our fifth branch was still building Kongtown. The leaders of the major branches had no time or opportunity to go out to the base. The whole day's work was basically around the workers supervising the progress. Everyone was already depressed. Broken. Master Lei just arranged for the deputy hall leader to lead his people to stay at the front line base camp. Naturally, he and the helmsman were reluctant. Is there any way? If we want to change Mr. Lei's mind, besides our hall master, who else can do it? The narrator's helmsman's face once again showed pride. So, under everyone's strong request, the deputy hall master went to Lei's eye to ask for a meeting with the hall master. Everyone looked at the helmsman in silence, waiting for him to continue. The hall master was so angry when he heard the news. He immediately rushed to the front line camp and said he wanted to settle the score with Mr. Lei. Everyone looked shocked. Looking for Mr. Lei to settle accounts? Is the hall master so fierce? As soon as I arrived at the front line camp, I heard a report from the soldiers, saying that the first branch of the Black Tiger Hall Master could not withstand it, and the zombie army would soon cross the security cordon. The helmsman continued. Our hall leader naturally puts justice first, and immediately pointed out that if we want to protect the Thunder Base and end the battle early, we must first get rid of the Zombie King. Yes. The hall leader has a clear idea. Two helmsmen nodded in agreement. So, our hall master immediately asked for orders to kill the Zombie King. Everyone was speechless. Zombie kings are generally very high level, and they are so easy to kill among the vast army of zombies. The hall master said at that time that she and Mr. Lei are the only ones in the entire Thunder Base whose abilities have exceeded the 4th level. She is the most ideal candidate. Everyone sighed. Yes, despite her young age, her fighting strength is second only to Lei Xiao. I heard that the hall master's power level has now reached the 4th level intermediate level and is about to reach its peak. With the blessing of pills, maybe the hall master will be able to reach the 5th level soon. It's no wonder that the Thunder Base is so powerful. It was only after following the hall master that they learned that there were such heaven-defying things as pills. With such a powerful catalyst accelerating, it would be strange if the powers of the superpowers did not increase rapidly. How could Mr. Lei let our hall master go up alone? He immediately decided to join forces with our hall master to attack, the helmsman said with a smile on his face. The two strongest masters of the Thunder Base are dispatched together. How can the Zombie King be an opponent? Not to mention that the zombie army only has 50,000 people. Even if it doubles, there will probably be no return. Everyone was shocked. They have heard many people describe how Lei Xiao and their hall master performed on the battlefield. Although I couldn't see it with my own eyes, I can still imagine it. As for what the helmsman said, even if an army of 100,000 zombies invaded the territory, their hall master and Mr. Lei could make the zombies come and go, which sounded ridiculous. But the strange thing is that they actually believe that the Thunder Base can solve it. Mainly because their hall master and Mr. Lei are really strong. While everyone was still sighing, Len Ning at the next table had already stood up. I just heard her raise her voice and say some opening words, and then invited everyone to raise their glasses. The helmsman quickly stood up, raised their glasses, and drank with the people at the other table. Len Ning only stayed at the next table for a short time, and then he took Sun Qi to the table where the helmsmen were. Today is the reunion day, let's eat well and drink well, and work hard in the coming year. Len Ning looked at his captains with a wine glass in his hand. The helmsmen looked excited. Unexpectedly, their hall master took the initiative to come and say these words to them. The hall master took care of the newcomers like them. It's the hall master. Everyone's eyes were excited and they said firmly to Len Ning. Please. Len Ning drank the wine in the glass first. The others drank it all immediately. You sit over here. Len Ning put down his wine glass and said to Sun Qi beside him. He looked at the only seat left on the table. Because she was busy, she failed to win over these new subordinates, so she could only leave these matters to Sun Qi. They are all her people, so they will definitely be biased towards their subordinates, but generally they have to be taken care of. A flash of shock flashed in the eyes of all the helmsmen, and they looked at Len Ning with a touch of emotion. The hall master was thinking of them and asked the deputy hall master to sit at the same table with them to appease their hearts. Yes, Sun Qi said with a smile. If you want to eat anything, just order directly. You're welcome, Len Ning said with a smile. Thank you, hall master. Everyone was moved. Yeah, Len Ning nodded and walked away. Sun Qi sat down and found that everyone at the table was very reserved. He immediately smiled and said something to liven up the atmosphere. Not long after, Zhou Tao at the other table was shouting and punching everyone again. Sun Qi saw that someone at his table was ready to make a move, so he directly spoke out, saying that someone at his side wanted to challenge Zhou Tao. Zhou Tao was naturally excited, so soon, the two tables became lively together. It is not unreasonable for Zhou Tao to have confidence in his own boxing. After a round of competition, it is true that almost no one can beat him. Just as he was showing off his pride, Lu Lang lifted Thunder out unyieldingly. It was said that last time Zhou Tao lost consecutive battles at the hands of the Thunder. Zhou Tao was so angry that he was so excited that he challenged Lei Ting. Lei Lei raised his eyebrows and looked at Len Ning beside him. Hey I don't know who started coaxing, and for a moment everyone looked at Len Ning with strange eyes. Then, everyone saw that their usually cold, arrogant, and domineering hall master turned red, still shyly red. Lei Lei liked it very much. But he deliberately coughed twice to make Len Ning think that he was standing up for her. Sure enough, Lei Lei's two coughs made everyone calm down their weird expressions. He wants to die, so let's help him. Len Ning felt a little angry and said directly to Lei Ting. These guys are really neither big nor small, and they need to be dealt with. Len Ning said something, and Lei Ting naturally didn't dare to disobey, and immediately started punching Zhou Tao. I have to say that Zhou Tao has made significant progress this time. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Qi Now. Chapter 499. After the Thunder won 2 games in a row, they were defeated by Zhou Tao in 1 game. Yeah. Haha. I won. Zhou Tao was so excited that he almost jumped up. Everyone. I have lost 2 games in a row, but I am still so happy after winning only 1 game. Zhou Tao didn't care about other people, so he quickly stepped forward and poured wine for Lei Ting, and watched Lei Ting drink it excitedly. Lei Lei drank the wine in the glass and stretched out his hand to make preparations. Zhou Tao refused to continue at this time. Hey, I'm satisfied if I can beat Lei Xiao. I won't continue to seek abuse. Haha, Zhou Tao waved his hand with a smile. Haha, just the drink I let Mr. Lei drink just now was enough to keep him happy for the whole day. It's not easy, he has beaten him once. Everyone directly expressed their contempt for Zhou Tao's actions. Zhou Tao smiled and asked those who were dissatisfied to find Thunder PK. Everyone was instantly silenced. The party continued, and under Zhou Tao's hesitation, Len Ning ordered each branch to put on a show. This is difficult for this large group of big men. Fortunately, they are all thick-skinned people. After hearing that Len Ning said that the top 3 programs would be directly rewarded with 100 boxes of beer for each program, everyone was eager to give it a try. Sun Qi quickly encouraged the helmsman on the table to come on board. Everyone, you look at me, I look at you, a little bit ready to make a move, but also feel embarrassed. The same commentator from before was the first one to run over and perform a stand-up comedy for everyone. Not to mention the 100 pieces of beer, it is a rare opportunity to be able to show up in front of Mr. Lei and the hall master. If you don't, you're a fool. The helmsman who explained it was actually quite capable. His cross-talk was excellent and he won applause from the whole house. After saying that, Len Ning sent him a red envelope directly. When everyone saw this, they immediately lost their composure. There are also red envelopes. At first glance, it's a big red envelope. So soon, someone else came on. The scene also began to become more and more lively. Len Ning was not stingy either, and gave red envelopes to everyone who came on stage. In the end, everyone except Lei Lei and herself came on stage to perform a show. The party was completely lively. It was not until 11 o'clock in the evening that everyone was full of wine and food, and everyone went home after the meeting. Len Ning leaned against Lei Lei with peace of mind and let him take her home. The next day, news about the relationship between Thunder and Len Ning spread like wildfire in the Thunder base, becoming the biggest hit in the Thunder base since the end of the world. The mystery that has been lingering in the hearts of Thunder residents has finally been solved. The top leader of their Thunder base actually fell in love with the most beautiful leader. The news spread so quickly, not only because of the efforts of the leaders of the fifth branch, but also because of Lei Lei's instructions. Hard work paid off, and Lei Ting finally became Len Ning's boyfriend. New Year's Eve. Lei Zai Tuan Nian. Lei Lei invited the four hall masters, Xiaobeo's mother and son, and the servants at home. Two large tables were seated in the living room. Under Huang Ho's laughter, everyone felt happy. Xiaobeo and Yang Meijun also joined in. Especially Yang Meijun, who happily drank several glasses of wine in a row despite being unable to push her away. Xiaobeo looked at Len Ning's brilliant smile and Lei Lei's doting eyes on her, raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and clinked a glass with Yang Meijun. "Mom, Happy New Year," then she said with a smile. "Happy New Year, son," Yang Meijun smiled happily. Ever since she left the resort and came to the Thunder base, her son always gave her a sense of alienation. "I no longer cling to myself or talk to myself as before, and I don't like talking to myself anymore. He has become very sensible, and he really doesn't look like a child." Speaking of which, she hadn't seen her son smile like this for a long time. "Mom, can we always live in the Thunder base from now on?" Xiaobeo suddenly asked. Yang Meijun was stunned. "Okay then," he replied with a smile. That's what she thought. They say the end of the world is a catastrophe, but for her it is more like a rebirth. Since leaving the village with the young lady, her life seems to have ushered in a new life. The madam and young lady treated her like a family member and allowed her to take care of such a big home, which allowed her to find a new direction in life. Her son Xiaobeo has always been by her side, so she couldn't ask for anything else. "Never leave, okay," Xiaobeo continued. There were emotions in her eyes that Yang Meijun couldn't understand. If they hadn't left the Thunder base, the things in their previous life wouldn't have happened. Without him, Grandpa would have created a new successor. As long as the heir can convince the public, the tragedy of the previous life will not happen again. Here he is, the hall master respects him, and the major helmsmen treat him like a family member. If he didn't pursue power and shoulder those responsibilities, would he be able to live a happy life with his mother in the Thunder base? Yang Meijun was startled. "I feel more and more that my son is different from other children of the same age." "Don't leave." Yang Meijun looked into Xiaobeo's eyes seriously and said. He reached out and touched Xiaobeo's head to express comfort. Xiaobeo felt warm in his heart. "Okay then," a smile appeared on his face. "Mom, I want to eat that," then she said to Yang Meijun with a childish look. Yang Meijun felt happy and quickly picked up food for Xiaobeo. She was overthinking it, Xiaobeo was still her cutest son. Xiaobeo ate the delicious food and looked at Yang Meijun's satisfied smile, feeling relaxed in his heart. Some things just need to be figured out. In this way, it would be nice to be a military doctor in the Thunder base with peace of mind. After the meal, everyone dispersed. Lei Mu took Lei Ting and Len Ning to stay up late. Because he drank a little too much, Len Ning dozed off in a daze. Originally, she wanted to go back to sleep first, but Lei's mother didn't agree and forced her to stay. It is said that staying up late on New Year's Eve will be good for your spirits next year. Helpless, Len Ning could only force herself to cheer up and sit on the sofa to listen to Lei's mother. But what Lei Mu said didn't make much sense. It was just trivial household chores and hopes for the future. Lei's mother would ask Len Ning a few questions from time to time, but it could be seen that she kept yawning, and she felt a little angry unconsciously. Fortunately, Lei Lei came out to smooth things over and replace Len Ninging and Lei Mu's words. "You two have been together for some time, and it's the new year soon. When will you decide to get married?" Lei Mu asked, looking at Lei Lei. Lei Lei looked startled. "Not ready yet." Upon seeing this, Lei Mu's expression immediately became a little ugly. No, Lei Lei said quickly. Then he looked back at Len Ning. Unfortunately, Len Ning had fallen asleep leaning against him at this moment. Breathing evenly, there was a faint sense of satisfaction on his face. Lei Lei's expression suddenly became stiff. Don't look at Ning Ning. This matter mainly depends on you. You are a grown man, don't you know how to propose, Lei's mother said with a hint of hatred. How could she give birth to a son with such a stupid head? Ahem, Mom, I understand, Lei Lei said hurriedly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 500. Lei Mu rolled her eyes at Lei Lei and sighed helplessly. I looked at my watch and found that it was New Year's Day in 2 minutes. He hurriedly said to Lei Ting, the time is almost up, wake up your sister quickly. Lei Ting had no choice but to turn around and call Len Ning. Xiaoning, Xiaoning. Thunder shook Len Ning's shoulders and shouted softly. Len Ning frowned and waved away Lei Ting's hand. Xiaoning, get up. Glancing at his mother's frown, Thunder shook Len Ning again. Seeing that his mother-in-law was about to get up and call for help, Lei Lei had no choice but to increase his strength again. Now Len Ning finally woke up. Brother, Len Ning was a little angry when he saw that it was Lei Lei who woke him up. It's no use calling you big brother. It's almost 12 o'clock, cheer up. Lei's mother finally stood up and said a word for her son. Len Ning then remembered the matter of staying up late on New Year's Eve. Oh, he quickly responded. Before the apocalypse, they also kept New Year's Eve every year. She drank a little too much tonight, so she couldn't control her sleepiness. Let's go, I asked Lao Liang to prepare the lamp. Let's go and put it on. Lei Mu stood up. The brother and sister looked at each other and stood up. Walking into the courtyard, the air outside dropped sharply. There were snowflakes in the sky, and the ground was already white. Because the ground was covered with snow, the surroundings looked a little bright. Uncle Liang sent the Kongming lantern. Then he used a lighter to light the paraffin underneath. The Lei family members each held the top of the Kongming lantern and let the flames below heat the air inside the Kongming lantern. Okay, let's make a wish, Mother Lei said solemnly. Then he closed his eyes first. Len Ning glanced at Lei Ting and then closed his eyes. Lei Lei looked at the two women he cherished most in his life, and his heart was filled with happiness. After a moment, he also closed his eyes. He has always had only one wish, and he hopes that his mother and Xiaoning's wishes can come true. After Lei Mu and Len Ning finished making their wishes, they opened their eyes and found Lei Lei looking at them with a gentle expression. Brother, what wish did you make? Len Ning asked curiously. The air in the Kongming lantern had not yet heated up to a high enough temperature. Len Ning was bored and asked Lei Lei. It's like this every year. Every time she opens her eyes after making her wish, her eldest brother's eyes are always open. She even suspected that her eldest brother had not made a wish at all. Lei Mu also looked at Lei Ting. It won't work if you say it, Lei Lei said with a slight smile. A look of disappointment flashed across Len Ning's face. In ancient times, there were people who wrote their wishes directly on lamps. Why doesn't it work when you say it? Brother, you really didn't make a wish, right? Doesn't he have any wishes? Although this thing seems a bit silly, people have to be willing to try sometimes, right? She has made a wish, hoping to be with her eldest brother forever. Doesn't he have such a wish? Thinking of this possibility, Len Ning suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. Lei Mu also looked at Lei Ting. It will work if you say it. I'm also curious about what wish you made then, he said directly. Xiaoning didn't say it was okay, but now she found out that her son really didn't make a wish. Their family's habit of keeping up the New Year's Eve and lighting up the Kongming lanterns every year was formed after she got married to Lei Ting's father. In other words, it was a New Year event specially set up by Lei Lei's father to please her. Over the years, when his father was around, no matter how busy he was, he would always come back to accompany her and Lei Lei to watch the New Year and light up the Kongming lanterns. After his father left, she took her son and daughter to continue this activity. On the one hand, I expressed my longing for the New Year, and on the other hand, I also wanted to take the opportunity to remember Thunder's father. She knew that her son had always been very filial, but on this matter, she was a bit more serious. Lei Lei looked at Len Ning and Lei Mu, and saw that both of them were looking at him, as if they were very concerned. Finally he said, "I have always had only one wish." The eyes of the two became more and more curious. "Then I hope your wishes come true," Lei Lei sighed. The two women were stunned for a moment. "My heart is full of emotions." "This has always been this wish," Len Ning asked Lei Lei in shock. "Brother, why is he so good?" "Yeah," Lei Lei replied. Lei Mu suddenly let go of her hand, and then her two hands covered the backs of Lei Ting and Len Ning's hands respectively. "Mom's wish is that you can get married as soon as possible so that our family can live a good life." Then there was a sigh on his face. Lei Lei and Len Ning were stunned. Then, Lei Lei looked at Len Ning. There was endearment in his eyes. "Xiaoning, what is your wish?" Then, before Lei Mu spoke, she asked Len Ning. Len Ning was speechless for a moment. Lei Mu also looked at Len Ning. "I am very curious about Len Ning's wishes." "Haha, let's not talk anymore." Len Ning's cheeks turned red and she started to laugh. How embarrassed she was to express her wish. Seeing Len Ning's appearance, Lei's mother was confused for a moment and then smiled. As smart as she is, she has already guessed it. "It's almost done, let's put on the lights," Len Ning said quickly after realizing that the air inside the Kongming lantern had been heated to the ideal temperature. Lei's mother glanced at Len Ning and finally took back what she wanted to say. Then, he asked his son and daughter to cooperate with him and release the Kongming lantern. In the night sky, the Kongming lantern slowly rose up, then drifted away, taking away the family's wishes. The three of them stood in the snow for a long time, and they didn't come back to their senses until the Kongming lantern floated out of the range of the thunder base. Lei's mother turned around and was about to call her son and daughter back to the house. Unexpectedly, "Xiaoning," Lei Lei suddenly called Len Ning. Lei's mother turned around and saw her son kneeling on one knee in front of her daughter, holding a beautiful wedding ring in his hand. Len Ning was obviously shocked, and he was completely confused. "Xiaoning, will you marry me?" Lei Lei looked into Len Ning's eyes and asked. A smile immediately appeared on Lei's mother's face. The wish made by the Kongming lantern really comes true. It was fulfilled so quickly. This is her good son, he should have done this a long time ago. Brother Len Ning's heart beat rapidly. Proposal. Isn't this too fast? I kept my original promise, and now it's a new year, Lei Lei said seriously. Len Ning's face was as red as an apple. Promise. She almost forgot about it. She told her eldest brother at the beginning that she would have to wait until the Chinese New Year to announce their relationship. As for going further, she didn't even mention it. Brother, he is so impatient. What to do? She feels so happy now. Did you really agree like that? She's not ready for marriage yet. Xiaoning, now in front of our mother, I solemnly request you to marry me. Let me love you, and take care of you for the rest of your life, Lei Lei continued. Successfully pulled Lei Mu in. He had been preparing for this proposal for a long time, and he had thought twice about the occasion. With his mother here, it is absolutely impossible to fail. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kge Now. Chapter 501. Yes, Xiaoning. Just agree to Lei Lei. As long as mom is here, You will only be able to bully him from now on. Sure enough, Lei's mother immediately assisted. Mom, I'm just 18. Len Ning frowned and looked at Lei's mother. She likes her eldest brother and wants to be with him for the rest of her life. But I'm really not ready to get married. Hey, isn't 18 just right? 18 has reached the legal age for marriage. I also married Lei Ting's father at your age. Lei's mother quickly advised Len Ning. Do you love thunder? When Len Ning didn't answer, Lei's mother continued to ask. Lei also looked straight at Len Ning. Of course I love you, Len Ning said quickly, fearing that Lei might misunderstand. Smiles immediately appeared on the faces of mother and son. I'm really afraid of hearing the word don't love. Since you love me, you don't need to think so much. Lei's mother stepped forward and held Len Ning's hand. Mom has been through it all. You will be very happy if you are with the right person. Mom knows your worries and fears about marriage, but as long as you love the other person and trust the other person's character, then why not be a little impulsive? Women need a little impulsiveness to get married, Lei Mu said with a smile. She had all kinds of worries when she married Lei Ting's father, but she never regretted it later. Len Ning was stunned. A little more impulsive? Yes, she worked so hard to realize her inner self and return to this world. Why not be more impulsive at this time? There is no doubt that she loves her eldest brother, and his affection for her transcends life and death. What else does she have to worry and fear? There is snow on the ground. If you don't accept his ring, his knees will get wet, Lei Mu said and looked at Lei. Len Ning quickly went to help Lei Ting. Brother, get up quickly. Ring. Lei did not rise, but glanced at the ring in his hand. Len Ning finally nodded. Good. Lei was overjoyed. Silly boy, hurry up and put the ring on your fiancé, Lei's mother said happily. Lei came to his senses and quickly put a ring on Len Ning. Tomorrow I will ask Lao Liang to find someone to keep track of the date and arrange the marriage for you as soon as possible, Lei's mother said with a smile on her face. Before the end of the world, Ning Ning had a withdrawn personality. She always hoped that she could fall in love and live a more cheerful life. At that time, she had thought about the scenario where Ning Ning would get married and leave her. Every time I think about it, I almost feel like crying. It's fine now. My daughter has become my daughter-in-law and can stay with me all the time. Len Ning let Lei hold her hand with a shy look on her face, not daring to raise her head. Thank you, Mom, Lei said to Lei's mother with a smile. Damn, what a good son, Lei's mother looked at Lei Ting and praised him. I sincerely praise my son for doing this beautifully. It's cold outside, let's go in and talk, Len Ning urged, lowering his head. Okay, go in and talk, Lei's mother replied with a smile. So, the family entered the house. The temperature in the living room was suitable. Lei's mother took Len Ning and prepared to talk to her about marriage. Mom, let's talk about this tomorrow. I'm a little dizzy and want to go back to sleep first, Len Ning said to Lei Mu in embarrassment. At the same time, he winked at Lei. Xiao Ning drank a lot, Mom, how about I send her back to rest first? Lei immediately helped. Lei Mu's expression froze on her face. It's getting late, Mom, you should go to bed early. Let's talk about the wedding tomorrow, Lei continued before Lei's mother could speak. Then he took Len Ning's hand and walked towards the stairs. Lei Mu. The raised hand was put down, Lei's mother sighed, and gave up the idea of planning a wedding with her son and daughter tonight. Tomorrow is tomorrow, she has plenty of time anyway. Lei sent Len Ning all the way back to the room. As soon as the door closed and before he could turn on the light, Len Ning was pressed against the wall. Then came the burning kiss. Not only did she drink a lot tonight, but so did her eldest brother. Even though he was not drunk at all, his emotions became more intense, his emotions became more passionate, and they became really ferocious when fermented. Lei was very familiar with the layout of Len Ning's room and quickly led Len Ning all the way to the big bed. When Lei Ting's heavy body pressed against Len Ning and the passionate kiss started from top to bottom, Len Ning finally forced himself to come back to his senses and reached out to stop Lei Ting's further movements. Lei propped himself up and looked at the woman beneath him with burning eyes. His mind was like a trapped beast, ready to break through the gate at any time. "Brother, don't dash through the silvery white outside the window." Len Ning could see Lei Ting's eyes clearly. At the same time, the two of them were in close physical contact, and she also felt a huge danger. Lei looked straight at Len Ning, who had a rosy complexion. Several sexy beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. Reason and animal desire were fighting crazily in his mind. "Xiaoning. I feel very bad after a while," Lei finally said in a hoarse voice. A flash of worry flashed across Len Ning's face. It was really uncomfortable for the eldest brother to look like this, but she was really scared. "Wait, after marriage," Len Ning finally said. His little face turned red with embarrassment. Lei's expression froze. "Okay. Then don't move and let me hold you for a while," then he continued in a hoarse voice. "Yeah," Len Ning responded timidly. Lei finally stood up, and then directly hugged Len Ning in his arms. Feeling the strangeness in Lei Ting's body, Len Ning did not dare to move and allowed Lei Ting to hold him. After a long while, Lei finally spoke again. "Let's get married when mom sees a better time. It's so annoying." He wasn't sure he could hold it back next time. "Otherwise, let's wait for the construction of the safe zone," Len Ning said. "Anyway, it can take one day. Can you bear to see me feel so uncomfortable?" Who knew that Lei would actually say with a hint of weakness. Len Ning's head was banged. It seems, holding it in for a long time is indeed harmful to the body. But, didn't the eldest brother come here before? "Brother? Yeah. I'm here." Lei buried his head in Len Ning's neck and lowered his voice. Len Ning's heart beat like thunder. "How about we get engaged first?" then he asked. A flash of pain flashed across Lei's face. "Although we have made a good start now, the Thunder base is safe for the time being. But for long-term development, we must step up our planning and preparations to build a safe zone. We will definitely be very busy by then. Let's focus on our career first." "Thunder. Brother, what do you think?" Len Ning asked carefully before waiting for Lei Ting's answer. "How about it?" He thought the proposal was terrible. "You see, we haven't been together very long. Don't we have to fall in love for a while before getting married?" Len Ning continued before Lei Ting could answer. "That's because both parties don't know each other well enough," Lei finally replied. "We have lived under the same roof for more than 10 years. Xiaoning, do you still have any worries about me?" The words were already in his voice. It smelled of helplessness.